the Richmond Public Library's new games page, you can see some of the text adventures, pick your path adventures, and escape room games that library staff and attendees of our workshops have made, including the newest game, Escape Your Library, or Escape the Library. Learning to make these games is a great activity for all ages, as it combines story writing and programming and working with graphics, sounds, and more. There are tons of free tools for making these text adventure games, and we even have a program to teach you how to write your own text adventure from scratch in Python. In this episode, we'll give our tour of all these resources and talk about all that you can learn and about the benefits of making your own games. At your library, you can write a Pick Your Path adventure. I'm Deeth. I'm a digital services technician at the Richmond Public Library.
And I'm Cindy. I'm head of digital services at the Richmond Public Library.
So Cindy, why is this program such a good fit for libraries?
At the Richmond Public Library, we're always trying to find some really fun and inventive ways of making digital skills learning really, really fun. I think Pick Your Path Adventures is a really special type of program because it really combines a lot of different skills together. So we're doing literacy, we're doing story writing, we're combining that with coding as well as some scripting language. We're also combining it with making games and apps. And there's just a lot of different skills mixed together to create a really fun project that can be easily shared with your friends and family to bring a lot of joy after the program as well.
And who is this program for?
Deeth mentioned before that it's a great fun for all ages. Most of the programming that we've been doing has been at the grade 6-7 level and older. That's because some of these programs take a bit more time, and the ability to type is also very useful, but it is a nice program that people can do together as well. So we've done it before for some of our school visits where we paired people up into teams and they created a project together. So this could also be an option for families wanting to create a pick your own path adventure game together.
How's it been received so far?
It's been received quite well. I think the people that have joined have had a lot of fun, and we even set up a iPad kiosk in the Launchpad, which is a space at our main Brickhouse branch where we do most of our digital services programming, so that people could come and play some of the games and projects that they've created in the past. It's probably one of our less popular school visits. We have a variety of topics, and I think just because it's a little bit more challenging, we do split this school visit into two parts. So they come in for one session, and then they come for a second session as well. So we teach them the basics the first session, and then after that in the second week they've had more time to do some writing, plan out their stories, and then really get into the meat of the coding during the second session.
Cool. What's the library trying to accomplish with this program?
As always, we're trying to bring together the joy of literacy as well as digital literacy skills. So there's the traditional reading, writing skills practice, as well as combining it with some new skills, such as coding and creating apps. What we're trying to do is we're trying to bring some updated knowledge and skills for those that participate in the programming at the library.
You talked about some of the challenges in bringing this to a school environment. Have there been any other challenges with the program?
So some of the challenges that have come up with this type of programming is that, as you've heard, there's lots of pieces. So there's the writing of the story, there's the deciding of the different possible plot lines, and then there's multiple endings. So there's a lot of different components to it, and then all of those components then need to be coded to build the game. You can also add in other interesting features depending on the type of software you're using. So you can do things like keep score or have images that are embedded into the game as well. So some of the things that staff have tried to do is to create some writing tools to really help provide some structure and some writing prep work, because you need a really strong base before you really get into the coding because you can get quite quickly lost in the process. All right, so Deeth, will you be able to tell us a bit more about some of the softwares we've been using, as well as some of the pros and cons?
Yeah, so James and I have each tested out a lot of different software for writing Pick Your Path adventures, and he's kind of settled on Inky and has done a lot of work with that. So Inky is a free and open source tool. It is kind of designed to work as a piece of a bigger project to be embedded in a like a 3D graphics game or something, but it also works standalone for writing text adventure games. And I have mostly been using Twine, which is also free and open source and runs in the browser. And one of the things I like about Twine is it gives you an interactive map of your game. And so you can see how all the rooms in it interrelate to each other, for instance. It just creates that as you go. They both are good solutions. There's lots of other tools out there. And we've also taught workshops on how to make your own game engine and game from scratch in Scratch, in Python, and in JavaScript. So there are lots of tools out there, and really the tool isn't the important part. It's the storytelling and the learning to build both a story and a branching adventure.
So we've been running Pick Your Path adventures for the last few years. What have we learned from offering this type of programming?
So we've learned a lot about how to teach writing as well as how to teach game creation and programming, and how to bring those to people who are at vastly different levels. So being able to help someone who is maybe not real experience with a computer and or writing young children, to give them a heads up or a hand up to how to write and structure a story, and also what to lead their reader to expect in a game. And then also I've worked with more professional developers in the Adult Code Club who brought their game in that they were working on in Python that they needed help with. So there's been a really wide range of skills, and everybody, we can meet everybody at their level. And so if they have a game that's working as a text adventure but they want to add graphics, we can help with that. But if they just need to understand how to structure a story to begin with, we can also start there.
Mm-hmm. It's such a great program for us to be able to build and grow as skills develop. How would we expand this program in the future?
Yeah, we can offer it in different kind of packages. So we've done some of this as standalone workshops specifically to write a choose your own adventure. We've had kids come into the code clubs, which are more freeform, and asked for help writing a choose your own adventure, or how they would do that in Python or JavaScript. And we've had other workshops where we created a game with parent and student teams, or parent-child teams, which were really fun. So there's a lot we can do to expand both in how we offer it there, and we're also starting to build our own tools at the library. So not just games, but we're looking at creating a tool for making collaborative games where people can both collaboratively author the game and work together to create the game in the first place, but also play it collaboratively where several players are in the game at the same time.
If another library is interested in offering this type of programming, how would you advise them to get started?
Yeah, so there's a few ways. We're going to be putting out some documents for our tutorials, and they can also just reach out to us and say what piece of all this that they're interested in, and we would be more than happy to collaborate and help them get started with setting up a game server, setting up their own portal to text adventure games, or how to teach a workshop like this.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining us for our very first At Your Library You Can. This is just the very first session where we introduce Pick Your Path Adventures. We invite you to take a look at the web resources that we are creating, as well as the game page that we mentioned earlier. So there's a growing library of games in the Richmond Public Library's games page. Oh, Deeth is bringing up here right now. So we are currently working on this and adding games as we create them. So there's many examples here, and you can play through and see what some of these look like. We also have a few that are made by our children's and family services team, which are a little bit different than the Pick Your Own Adventure programs that we talked about, as they did a number of escape rooms where they had different puzzles using Google Docs. So that is a different way of doing a text adventure game that you can also take a look at on this page. So thank you very much for joining us. We hope that you come and see our next session, which will be all about the evolution of our Minecraft programs here at the Richmond Public Library.
Awesome. Thanks.